because it's time to get in the first game of NA East. Take it away, gentlemen.
Yes, sir, as we're on board with Livingston. Livingston getting our first elim on the broadcast, Monster, and that's a 4-pointer right there and there. But Monster, I mean, we were kind of talking about a little bit of the day one performance as Livingston using that nice right cam, gets it right over, gets up on that ramp, and boom, a nice two-piece right there on the outside of the agency on that cabin of the Nutcracker. But what I wanted to talk about was Commandment. Head of the cut, it is Mega outside here at the rig. Does find a nice opening shot right there on Teza and Mega. Part of the phase. A lot of people, a lot of pro teams out here. Monster, you got FaZe, you have TSM, you have E11 represented. But also we got to talk about the different types of platforms representing today. The middle of the island could put you in a bad place if you have to rotate in late.
That is true, and Lupian qualified through the console track. So he is one of the players that did qualify through the console track. Probably playing on PC today, just in general. Going up against Lyricin right now, and he's going to get the better of the exchange there, Sancho. On day 2, you know, max that you can play is 20 full rounds. 2-day kind of format. Here's the RPG coming in, though, Sancho. This is, this is kind of tough to play on defense.
I like it. I mean, it is a definitely tough thing to do. The splash damage of the RPGs causing so much havoc, and they're going to kind of retreat back into Meowscles' little box factory. Illis doing his best to just kind of maintain, make the other... And let's take a look at height. It's just outside the tag zone. It is Cardarant trying to do his best to survive against Illis' kind of pressure from down below, and he does get the big tat he's looking for. Now let's gonna see how Illis responds to this. Sometimes the pro player just gets a little bit more aggro when they're low, just like Illis, but Illis retreats very, very intelligently and just gonna kind of take a moment here to breathe, but I don't think a Cardi is gonna let that happen.
Yeah, it's true. Caragent's looking for an opportunity here. I mean, Illis is doing a good job disengaging. Still a lot of plays to be made, though. He's going on those counter edits. Notice he is going on offense here, and Caragent's just taking his time right now, trying to find opportunity. I love the defensive edits as well that he's making. Notice he's being very cautious, putting that wall in front of him, even when he opens up those top halves.
And I did notice that Illis' average placement was about 50, so even though he did really well, he does have those matches where you kind of just get out a little bit early and Carradent, but of course it is the lack of the green that's going to hurt him with only 22 HP right there. No kind of white heals to pick himself up, but he does get the tag, holding height right now. Vexifire doing his best to survive, knowing that he maybe got that opening dink that could give him that opportunity to sneak right in. Has that piece control, and that is the danger right there, Monster, of walking into someone's fort. It's to someone's base, and Druk pays the price.
Yeah, Druk let his guard down, wandered into some murky water there, and he got bit for it, not being able to see what kind of dangers were awaiting him. Vexifire, recognizing that was his build. It was very nice on him. Made it too easy for Vexifire, though, and that's going to be a free point for him now. Druk's going to have to hit the drawing board here.
And to reiterate, the magic number for top 300 for EU was 143 points. So the people that kind of have like EMAT in the 70s or so, they just have to repeat the same performance that they had. It's Hunt with the beam right from above and ends the dream for that opening round for TNT.
There is a player underneath him. It's Void, who's on defense here, sitting in the box.
Hydraxis using the double. Ooh, he just gets the one with the wall, switches right over, and bang, ends that run right there. And you thought about he was just hoarding it. Nah, man, he was going to use those bad boys. You see a base a fort way back off in the top left, but it's going to be one of those interesting ways to see what happens. We have seen a lot of circles around Misty Meadows before. The Yellow Bridge came into play, as we did see DEROLLER, who was a big factor in the previous day one. He had some victory royales, rolled through a lot of people. DEROLLER coming from the console track, getting himself a nice elim with that metered shots, and he's going to go ahead and collect the fruits of his spoils there. But there is a vulture in the thing. He's like, wait a minute, you can't go in there and take my loot. That's my loot right there. And he's no doubt he's going to pick up this other elim with that nice spray down with that SMG.
But still, using this to pressure is still relatively good. I mean, it allows you to keep a low profile, so their Biz is going to get a very crucial shot. These are very, very big shots for him. He needs them to all connect right now, because he doesn't have any HP left.
He slides down the mountain. It's going to be a little bit of an issue. Almost maybe it works out for him because he's able to disengage without using any kind. I mean, he had no material. So that was, I don't know if that was on purpose, but it worked out for them as he's going to go ahead and make his way and look around for anything to help him out. And even though he gets some nice, that was big. Rapids falls right into that right-hand side of Bizzle. Bizzle unable to get any of the materials, though, that left behind from Rapids, but no doubt picks up the Siphon, and the rest of the lobby hears that shots, and now Bizzle is doing that, and down goes Bizzle right there from Severe. And that is the, yes, you came out on top right there, but you always have to be mentioned that slow down your rotation and allow the gatekeepers of the Storm to take a look and get you and earn that Siphon and the 4 points for that elimination there, Monster.
Can take his time on this rotate, but even then, you don't want to move too late. Someone does get beamed right here. See, Durant takes out Agalor. Now it's Outcast who's jumping into the build. I mean, the aggression because of the fact that he has this type of loadout. He's going to go for the drum gun, so he actually picks it up, opting to drop Sky's assault rifle, maybe because he didn't want to reload here, but also because the drum is just better at close quarters. Notice he's getting in the box right there. And that's it. Durant gets taken out the game, and Outcast gets a refresher now. He's got options to choose from here, Sancho.
I mean, you have either Sky's AR or Midas's drum gun, but that's going to be the options that he earned his way to, as Hunt does have a neighbor in the brick box next door, and you do not want to hear that sound, as Sundown says the drum gun makes bullets go brr, and Hunt just kind of scared Livingston a little bit and goes ahead and disengages, realizing that he has to get into the safe zone here as he makes his way easily with that use of the grappling gun. The grappling gun has been a big factor early in. So I gotta ask, man, what do you do if you're on the defense against a drum gun? What is the fastest thing you can do? Is it create distance? Is it create switching layers? What is the options you have going against such a strong weapon?
It's a little bit of everything. You have to put in the combination of being able to hit your shot, but also get away if you're not feeling too confident. Those are one of the weapons you don't want to put yourself in a close quarter engagement. You're clearly at a disadvantage. So here, look, it's clear as day right now. He is on the least congested side of the zones. You don't go from low ground to height like that, not without being smart and timing your rotates, and that's what you guys just witnessed.
And no doubt we're going to see CLIX most likely on the top side of this, but we're back on board here with Hunt. And Hunt has the power of the Midas drum gun, looking for more boxes, using the cone edit, looking around to see what kind of wall is weak, who makes the mistake with building with wood, and that's going to be the green light for them to go full steam ahead. Hunt, in a great position here, has himself 2 launch pads. So if anything gets tricky, as we always like to point out, the mountain is in play, and it was very cool to see CLIX kind of use the things that you see in creative. Now someone's in Hunt's box, and that is the mistake you want to be, like a spider. Jumps right out and claims Pulse. 4 points right there as we get closer and closer. Remember, every 10 is more points on the board, and we get into crazy mode when it gets to the top 10. Now we're talking some impact eliminations that not only stop someone else from racking up points, but multiplies essentially. You go from a 4 point to 5 to 6, and then it gets crazier and crazier. And again, I am saying, Hunt, I think, is in a great place for a crazy in-game ride here, Monster.
Yes, he is. I mean, he had a good day one. If he can continue this, we're going to see him amongst the top 300. Right now, he's kind of vibing, dude. 3 elims in the first game is setting himself for a momentous swing, especially because he's close to endgame with a grappler. He can get himself some placement points. He could be on his way. Remember, 5 eliminations in a Victory Royale is well worth over 50 points. So just a couple elims, just a dubski, and you're going to be up there. You're going to earn yourself a lot of points here. As Simple as jumping into someone's box now. He's got what looks like some not simple problems because he's got the zone on his back. He's got players on his layer. And now he's in the zone itself.
Emad going down in the 34th placement or so. So Emad goes down. But yeah, Simple's plans have gotten very complex as the storm is going down. But Simple is trying to make Arkham's Razor come out and make things a little bit easier for them. He's going to try to stay in the air as far as possible and just eliminate the verticality that is happening right now as this circle just gets away, sneaks up on somebody, gets some blue hits, and gets right in the box and finishes up with my main man special, Clay, with a nice harpoon play. Monster, Simple, you said so yourself, was in a complex situation, but did a very complex play right there.
That was a crazy good play. The harpoon was risky, but it has such high damage, such a reliable weapon at very close range. Manages to play off. The risk did pay off here. Here's back with Outcast. What we see is connecting with that drum gun. There was a reason he picked it up. He already had Sky's assault rifle, valuing the drum gun over it, obviously now. And look, he's still throwing salt in the wound of every competitor that falls to him every single time. Here he is. He still hasn't reloaded this bad boy, but it doesn't matter. It has just enough kind of bullets in the mag here to let it ring. Let's see. He's now jumping into someone else's lair. Normally, an endgame players want to find their own lair, but not Outcast, not Hunt. Not when he has a loadout like this. He's jumping in boxes with the drum gun. That's what you see every single time. It's so textbook. It's so simple. Tabs is going to fall here, and he's out the game now.
Out of the game, and Hunt gets himself a legendary pump shotgun as we're flying over. Simple had a great day at day one, 158th place, so in the middle of the pack. But Hunt is chasing and hunting down the rest of the pack of this server as he gets another one and lines it up against lined up. And now we're getting into those impact frags here, Monster, where big time points are being thrown on the board. Weigel right now is no doubt hearing the sound of the Midas drum gun. Weigel gets one on AJERSS. So now it's Weigel going up against in the top 4 against Hunt. Can Hunt get the rest of the lobby out with Midas's drum gun, beating it down, everybody?
And you got to think about it. He's in a situation where he could use a grappler. Exactly now. He's trying to do that just now. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, he can set up for height right now. He has enough material as well. The player up there knows, though. He kind of gave away his ace play because he missed the grapple the first time. He's going to get taken out the game. There's only 3 players left now. Simple being one. Someone else is in the zone here. And if Simple griefs height, I mean, whoever is in the zone can come out and possibly win this game here, Sancho.
No doubt, Simple in a 1v1 situation. He had a complex situation, but here he goes with the rocket launcher. Just gonna go ahead and do the deed. It does. Big time explosion and a big time 45 points and the victory royale. You never know, man. Anything could happen here in day 2.
Yeah, I think he's gonna need quite a bit, to say the least. I mean, he's gonna need at least 110 or so points if he wants to hit that average kind of threshold. What we've seen so far up until now, there's a lot to be had, but Rowcom either way is here to prove that he's ready to kind of make it happen. He already scored himself one good elim, and he's kind of choking a few here. He lost control of this wall again. Look, he's going to turn around now. Let's see. It's just a cat and mouse game right now. Big shot, though.
Big shot, dude, and he was able to control all those pieces, and then that was a factor. Despite not having a lot of materials, people were giving him credit, but all the people on the bubble just need that one big old pop-off game as we're on board here with Scope, Tifu's partner, as he's doing his best with that C4, causes some big damage right there. Going to go ahead and push in, knowing this person does not want to mess around with Scope because the conditions of everybody having, this is day 2. We know that Scope lands here, Monster, and we know he is the king of the grotto.
Hey, this is a rivalry that we've seen develop since the FNCS Duels competition. I mean, it carried over, trickled into yesterday's kind of show-flowing competitive matches as well. We're seeing it still happen here. These are players that are going to stick to their guns, and I mean, Scope has been getting the best of him, not only in duos, but now
Hollow is going to do his best to stay away from Scope as he's now out in the open waters, and when you're in the open waters, you can't build doggy dog, and you get eliminated, and Scope taking advantage of that situation.
How many players are landing here? I see Hornet. Well, there's like 4 players here. So you have Hollow, Hornet, Moose, Dijon. I think Hornet's rotating in a little late, but still, so many players playing off of the grotto right now. It's kind of incredible, actually. Big shot, Sancho.
Big shots indeed as Moose gets Scope down to 6 HP. Scope does have a bandy gun if he wants to back up, but Scope says no, not needed. I'll take the 50 HP instead, and Moose gets the caboose. This Fortnite squad champion, which was a very interesting way, man. That pop-up way, his Twitter post is saying, like, not that many people wanted me on the squad, but we did it with the squad that we had, and we're unknown. Look at the aggression, Monster, sending in the motorboat to be the tip of the spear, getting down to the whites. What a big-time play from Unknown.
It's a caliber of skill difference. I mean, we saw Rowcom fight in the previous fight. He was making some arguably popularized the W key playstyle and showing that it is viable to be straight up elimination warrior, okay? Jump in boxes and handle it like that.
We're going to a creative warrior, and that's Sway, right, Monster? We're talking about the popularization of different styles, and Sway is all about that. King of the style, Sway going in, doing what he does best, trying to get the tags. And Sway, man, not only proving to the world right now, it's not all about those.
But we'll see more. We'll find out more as that story kind of develops throughout the play here. Here's Goofy connecting right now with 3 shots, Sancho.
Yeah, Goofy going in hard right now. Goofy, you heard. I love the name right now. Yook as he's going right in. 5 points for the day. Goofy finishing the first day with 21 points. So this is one of those ones on very far on the bubble, but that doesn't mean he's here to compete. Hopefully looking for those pop-up games right now, trying to get inside the box, doing all that he can, using the tack shotgun as a way to get in, using the bat from Harley Quinn to get in. But he has to be careful, that jump shot. That's something that I know you've seen done against me, Monster, in those box fights. All of a sudden jumping out to the side with attack doesn't get hit right there. So now this is one of those long matches, and we're taking a look at the map. This has to be wrapped up soon because there is a couple of people out in the distance who are on the storm line. So this is actually going to be a clean fight, Monster.
Not only that, Goofy's got the momentum pushing right here. So Bobby, who's on the run right now, he's actually burning through his material. Goofy is just fine to take this fight as long as as drawn out as it was. He's not going to really, you know, get too affected by this because he only uses wood in that fight.
That's a decent thing. Has to know that scope's around here. Did see someone kind of fly in, so he's gonna kind of mark and gauge what's going on. He does see someone in the water, and he does. He gets Hornet, and I think it was Hornet who was battling Scope. So Scope, no doubt, is around right now, and Hornet gets eliminated, and that's a good way to start your first engagement out in the grotto here for Kodal. That's a lot to go into, and he's already in about 183rd place after day 1. So here he goes, Sway going in, a crowd favorite, I would like to say. I mean, I see him all the time on my Insta, and you can see a lot of jumps, edits, and there you go. Just like clockwork, getting to K right then and there, jumping right into the box using that pickaxe jump technique.
Pushing forward, Sancho.
Yeah, man, that is one of those opportunities. One of the techniques you see as well is you hold on, as like you call it, the ace up the sleeve. You hold on to that one last moment because now the other player knows, okay, Scope has a heavy, so I got to prepare for that as well and make my adjustments in my defensive play. And not only you could do that, as you can see right there, Scope is trying to put that ramp on his backside so he could just kind of hop right into the box. And we saw that a little bit earlier with Faye Sway. Scope right now with 13 points right now, heading into, this is his possible 4th elim there. 47, bang! Kodal goes down, as we did see Kodal do a little decently in the grotto, and I feared that if you go to the grotto, you would eventually run into Scope, and Scope finally getting it done.
Or kind of catches impacts in the mid game the way he so heavily depends on. He is going to be a scary player.
It's almost as if, you know, when you rely on the three-point shot in the NBA. Sure, you get a lot of high-scoring games, and you get a lot of excitement, but that play style could catch you. No doubt, Scope is still a very dangerous player. We all know the caliber of what he can do, but a lot of things can happen and go wrong here. Speaking of West, Sancho West is back in the building. Right now, Danny with 1 points going towards it. Let's see if Danny could get another one to get that feel-good vibes that you desperately need when you're going into the second day of competition. But the vibes of a rocket launcher, gotta be careful right now. Really close to another placement point in the 50s, and then after that, it's every 40th, 30th, 20th, and then from 15 down, especially 10 down, you get some maxing as Magnolia sitting right above him, and Danny gets some nice elim right there, and we've seen Aspect right now. Follows Sway still in this monster phase. Represented today here in day 2.
He's doing very well, controlling his temperament. We saw him exercise a couple disengages. I mean, you can see from the elim count on its own, he's not afraid to fight. He'll take a couple where he can. He'll perform too. He's one of the more aggressive players. He's got that ace jump in your box play. Like I said, it's the aggressive tendency, that jump in the box ramp boost. It's all these players really like to do. Because right now the RPG is going to crack open a build, and this is the perfect time to do it, right? It's when the builds are nice and weak, they're nice and fresh. He notices that as an opportunity to jump, pickaxe, swing in, and now he's into another box. Can he connect? And he is going to connect. Very risky though, because now he grabs the attention of the rest of the server. Someone's going to throw some C4. Remember, you can only have 1 C4. Lucky for him, his Catacombs build is still very much in play here. He will be able to bounce back. Let's see if he decides to go back for the loot, though. There's so much there laying around.
Sway still in play right now, doing really well. The mechanics and the style are all coming together. Let's see if it could be that perfect marriage for him as he's going to continue on in this server as we're flying over and on board here with Dragon. Has a great kit right now, has one of the miniguns, no doubt, earned from the grotto. Has a harpoon, so it will be interesting to see. Or as my friend Larry Fishberger says, harpoon gonna come into play. So Dragon doing what he does best. He does have a decent amount of builds, so let's see what happened, what he can do. Today catches someone. That's the kind of danger right there, man. When you're not sitting on even any, your floor, your wall, the ceiling, doesn't matter. You could get edited down, right brought to the layer, and Dragon with that very cool play right there, Monster.
Definitely was a good one. And here's Sway. He's off to the races, learning from his past mistakes, his previous mistakes, rotating with the outer edge of the zone. Very nicely done. Could be utilizing a bit of a safer build, though. If he wanted to, he could be doing some 2 ramps. Let's see. He's going to need an impact elimination. He only has 130 mats. He's going for it right now in the back half of the storm. This must be such a red flag for the opponent on defense. Oh, you know he's not happy at all. Not to fall to the likes of Sway. Not right here, not right now. Clamps gets taken out, and Sway still is on a rampage here. 5 eliminations now. Placement still, the good placement points still haven't really been given out either. He's got a long way to go right now, but he's still fighting in the mid game, or fighting in the end game chaos, what I should say.
It's going to be a really nice opportunity to see what Sway can do in game. He has the prowess, and he's getting the hits, and he's looking for more elims. I mean, he's kind of riding the storm line right now. I think he may drop down to the low ground, as you can see that he's kind of heading his way to the front line, catches someone right in his grill, and gets him out of the lobby. Now it is Sway in full sway. He's vibing right now. Does get hit in the back, but not kind of worried about that. Turns around and blocks, and he has to switches up the layer a little bit to get that moment to breathe here, Monster. But Sway's putting on one of those performances to let everybody know that he is a serious contender and the rest of this Fortnite Invitational.
I'm looking at the feed. I saw Unknown go down. I saw Hogman go down. Heejin go down. So many players are falling now. Punisher just falls right there in the feed. So these are players that are making it towards the end game. Not even before top 10 though. Sway doubles back into the zone to go for 2. He catches the special right there. And those guys get taken out. Can he get another? This is 8 eliminations already. And he finds another one. That's going to be his 9th now. And he is racking up the points here.
It is ringing up really high, and he has the grappler. It is Sway's world right now, and he's going to go into what he does best, and that's rebuild his way to height in Monster. He has the opportunity to get a Royale. 102, has to be careful right here. Picks up the siphon on the backside of the storm line. Sway, grappler in hand. Someone tries to get away with the short pad and goes all the way, but Sway with the grappler, with the play. Can he finish his 66 points? Monster, it is a top 3 situation.
And this is right where he likes to be, somewhere near that high ground. As you know, he is a creative warrior. With the grapplers, he decides to go back down because he can just go right back up, and he forces them into the zone with a phenomenal finish. It's the Uzi who falls, and how the mountain can play into the dynamic of how it plays out. When you put the grappler into the equation, you put it into someone like a free builder like Sway, that's where the excitement raises. What a first place kind of storm takeover, right? We're talking 85 points before that. And that's what he's going to do. Kind of risky for him to jump in these porta potties, these teleport to potties.
There you go. I was about to say, is he going to do it? You say it's risky. I say it's strategy or strategery or strategical, whatever one of the verbs are correct. As he continues rolling forward here, hitting the 126 and immediately following up with the spray, recognizing the fact he does not have a shotgun, but he rectifies that by immediately after getting the elim, picking up the pump from that eliminated player and then turning around and hitting a shot. However, fighting through those windows is incredibly awkward for both parties.
No way.
It's so hard to line up a correct shot, and CLIX with a nice little double ramp edit to get up on the vertical, but the other player is looking to continue pressure using the almost never seen C4, as CLIX has a little extra scope on his screen. We won't worry about that as he continues to just try and get those pots off, knowing that the additional shield should be enough to make the difference because he'll have the heavy sniper to go aggro, but Lifa is not giving him that room right now.
No, and fighting someone like CLIX is just absolutely unfair. You saw how fast he was able to grab the minis, make a play, and still get back up. All that within a matter of just I think Wolves is going to figure out real soon that Carson is waiting there in the mid game, and it's going to become really, really weird. Oh no, Wolves is working out the bottom half while Carson is working out the top half. And not once did they cross each other's POVs, and Carson is going to fall to that fall damage as well, so he falls victim. So Woes is chopped down, and he's the guy that comes out on top. The player at the base is the one that's going to win.
And I'm pretty sure Aguilar got an Elim off the start, but now Was all of a sudden turns it into just, nope, I get everything. Cleans up the agency, and it's all his. Everyone was all over the place with that, man. We could barely keep track of it. Aguilar got an Elim in the sky, then everyone gets dropped down. But looks like he's able to pick up some of it as we hop on board here. Virus picking up Hornet there. Putting some great pressure onto Derpy, who's not fishing instead. Looks like he's being fished right now, trapped in a barrel beneath Spyrock, who's just pouring shots into it to complete the analogy. And honestly, it looks like he's starting to burn a little bit too much material for my liking here. He has the player on the back foot. He needs to be focusing on just pressuring into the box and resolving this fight, because another player is going to come around the corner and start pouring more shots into him and backs him off.
Something to think about. Spyrock's been having a pretty consistent 2 days. He had 100 points scored on the first day, finishing in 129th. Today he's already at 85th. We're coming into that last queue, so relatively stable as far as his consistency goes, his play style goes the last couple days. Here's BNB Cracked, who just came in out of nowhere, and I think that's a mobile player. I saw iOS in the name there. You see, yeah, it is. He just came in swinging right in from a launchpad play, and suddenly he's thrusted himself into the battle right now. We get to see it from his POV. He's at 67 points. Take a look at the accuracy right there, the quick flick up. He's gonna hit the headshot at long range. Let's see, though. He knows for sure there was something going on. I mean, I'm sure he was able to see the builds as he came crashing in. And right now, Cracked sitting on 67 points today. He had 30 points yesterday, so he needs to keep pushing forward. The line for NA East is currently at 130, so knowing that this is his last game, needs to get Elims. 1, 2, 3 will be enough. Will the iOS player be able to push himself into the top 100? He's doing incredibly well here, and he finally figures it out with Preen, the spam fire being enough to overcome the defense. He has to get these points. He needs the 4 points. Placement won't be just enough for him, or it'll end up being too tense. He'll be forced to play either super hectic late game or be forced into a bad situation. So what does he do instead? He's trying to force fights, and it's risky and it's aggressive, and Spyrock makes him pay there with the legendary attack being enough to overcome that spray of the SMG, and Spyrock immediately trading out another 107 shot on the other player. A great shot from Derpy, but not quite enough. The 107 headshot comes through, and he survives with the 3 HP. However, Spud hears it going on, and he says, alright, I'm on my way. Let's see what's happening. Is there somebody low, or is it just a safe rotation? And honestly, it's probably, we talk about the phase where the game gets a little chill. This is going to be it now. Because as the lobbies thinned out, we're inside the top 30, so now everyone's looking for, alright, I want top 20, or any guaranteed elims I can get if somebody's still rotating through, as Spud finds a player with that RPG, gets the rocket going forward, using the AR as his spam weapon to try and break the builds and get in. Brilliant job to weaken the wall first with the AR, follow up with the tack to force the player into either have a wall ready to go, or to spray back. The player sprays back, and Spud. Well, here's Spyrock, who has been having quite the game so far. I mean, this lobby thinning itself out will play to its benefit in some way, shape, or form. Just like this, allowing players to get to their prime positionings and maybe take away a victory royale if you can cheekily snatch one up. I mean, every player I feel like we've tuned in with has had a great loadout and has had several eliminations, so this is the kind of scary part of the game if you're trying to take these fights. Look, he doesn't care. He knows there's no one behind him. He did the run himself. He catches him off guard. It was little Uzi who was inside the cone, caught slipping right there. And that's a free elim for Spyrock. Like I said, it's kind of unfair the speed at which a player like CLIX can move. He was able to hit those shots, get in, get out, reset the wall, and still be A-okay. As this player walks into his builds, and it all just works out. Like pieces of a puzzle together right there. Is Gilly. Definitely. And look, he's looking at the cone right there. He knew the player was in there. He took the ramp. Look at the speed at which he was able to do that. He's already in the lead in this exchange. And he finds Woes with the drum gun. And now he can upgrade once again. He is looking at a big game right now. This might look like a CLIX runaway here at the end.
I don't want to say equal skill disparity, but less of a skill gap going on, or you're playing against kind of that 0.001% of individuals in CLIX. But now, speaking of CLIX, we're hopping on board with VIX, who has prime position for the Brutus minigun, and everyone coming in on that launch pad. He already knocked down one player, trying to eliminate a little more on the high ground, also has a rocket launcher, so he is going to be looking for a siphon to try and top back off the 100-100, and he's hawking this player just on the other side. He finds a 90, 36, 36, 36. Can he find it? Flanks that shot or whiff that shot? Not sure. It looks like it might have gone just over his head, but Crack will end up going down there, as Rogue Shark also picks up QHAJ, who got just inside that top 20, but now you can see CLIX, great wall replaced with the shotgun. However, Suscript rips him apart as CLIX tried to cover himself from the side, so a little too aggro there as Spud Light picks up Walkman, who was also trying to get a piece of the pie.
That's all that loot gets players hungry for it and desperate. All those players jumped in just to get a piece of the pie, like you said. It wasn't going to be enough, but CLIX still phenomenal game. 8 eliminations still coming in, capping himself off with something serious. Here's Spurrock, who's going to find a nice headshot, body shot. He just needs one more. The shotgun's going to connect. He's not going to leave it up to the likes of the AR. Instead, going to go with that instant hit scan from the shotgun. Now let's take a look here. He's got control of the field. Looks like it's his high ground. There's only a couple more players that can potentially challenge him for it. It's the guys that are across the field. It's just going to be a matter of where is the zone going to pull. Lucky for him, he does have a launch pad here. And this lobby is a little light. This emulates more along the lines of what an arena game would be with pro players. So it's going to look like a good old zone war in a couple seconds here now, as they all have to cut across.
About to say, this definitely looking like an NA East arena game. You have a couple of pockets where people have built up, and it makes it, if anything, a little more difficult and gives more priority to the high zone or the high ground players on either side, because those low ground players do have to invest so much more. There's less natural cover and less natural bases that have already been built out. You have to create the space for yourself. As we see, Suscript, Camp, VIX, all on that low ground. Zone is revealed. The number of players opting to take to the sky are ready to go to far side. You can see them hawking out other potential low pads to go over to. Suscript will get his feet on the ground first on the far side. TJ picks out Jamper, and we have our top 15, as he's now just going to box up, hang out for a little bit, see who kind of pops up, let other people get eliminated. Remember, when we get into that top 10, you'll end up getting an additional placement point for every player who falls down that will then also climb up higher. But Suscript, heavy snipe, wall replace, pump shot, put it on a show. Perplexity goes down, and he walks into just an all gold box.
Gets the good loot right there. It's the mythic loadout. Let's see what Suscript's gonna do. He now has the grapple. He can contest for height. He also has the material. Let's not count him out. He used 2 launch pads to cut across the field. He's got 4 launch pads in the inventory yet. Might as well burn him at this point. No need to waste the extra mats if you don't have to. If he wants to now, he can crank up and actually contest height. That's what he's going to do here. The one player that is on height is just single tarping across, and that's it. It's going to break him down, and now Suscript owns the height here. Oh no, he flubs the one build, and suddenly it's not his anymore. He goes for another launch pad. This is quite interesting here now, as he's just cutting across. He might just look to do it again. Probably crank up. Let's see.
Some interesting decisions and plays going on here. He's giving us a great tutorial on how to do the low launch pads that we talked about earlier, as now we have our top 10. VIX picked it up and then immediately went down to QHAJ Genesis, as Suscript is now kind of stuck on the lower ground, but Rogue Shark is the shark of the lobby up on the high ground, and he sees blood in the waters as TJ picks up Camp right before the storm ticks him over. 30 HP now at this point, as Spyrock picks out Bryce, and we get closer in towards the top 5. Doesn't actually have time to finish off that medkit. That is a huge flub, but the shotgun shot and the siphon will give him all of the floppers, and he technically will have enough time if he's able to get the medkit to pop it. But that being said, will be able to roll himself back over. Not going to opt to grab it and rotate back to the zone, so he's playing with a very limited health pool, but has plenty of mats and is probably just going to look to ride it out from here. It is still the 8th zone, so we'll have one more move, and this is huge. Do we go over old builds, or do we go out into space? This will largely define who wins the game, and it looks like it's mostly back towards old builds, Monster.
Yep, that is true. Shark's gonna fall to Vexy here, and Mr. Launchpad himself is still going, padding around, by the way. So Suscript is still in the game, and now he has height once again due to the Grappler. The Grappler is so strong in the solo competition, it's only right that we gonna close out this way as well. Can Suscript actually find the last shots, though? This player is gonna jump on the pad, but don't worry. Suscript wrote the pad plays himself. No, Shark was still alive. Kind of called that one wrong. I thought for a second he was taken out in the feed. But he is actually still in the running here. Shark's going to eat an RPG right there. I saw the hit markers come out. And now Suscript looks to close out, and he is. He's going to close out. He's going to hit the rocket. That's it. That's going to conclude the NA.
Is that #1 player in day number 2. It is none other than Liquid, stretched with 27 eliminations, 2 victory royales, and the 239 points, Monster.